Saint Nicholas was born in Patara of Lycia, a region in Asia Minor. His parents were pious Christians with significant wealth and took care to educate him properly. From a young age, they cultivated in his soul a love for Christ and the Church. Young Nicholas showed deep devotion to God and spent his days in prayer. According to tradition, he fasted on Wednesdays and Fridays even when he was an infant. He avoided the bad company of youths and loved attending church regularly. He listened to the advice of his elders and tried to apply it to his life. He was orphaned at a young age amidst the dangers of the idolatrous environment of the time. However, nothing managed to lead him astray from his faith in Christ. He used his fortune for works of love and charity towards people in need. The Christians admired him for his steadfastness and prayed that he be deemed worthy to serve the Church. His uncle, the Archbishop of Lycia, appreciated his virtues and called him to the service of the Lord. He ordained him a priest of the diocese, and Nicholas utilized his wealth for the poor. As a priest, Saint Nicholas performed many acts of charity and helped people living in poverty. At that time, a rich man lived in the same area with 3 beautiful daughters. Due to the envy of his enemies, he lost his entire fortune and fell into great misery. Out of despair, he considered leading his daughters into sin so that they could all survive. Saint Nicholas learned of his terrible decision and decided to intervene secretly for their salvation. He tied 300 gold coins in a handkerchief and threw them secretly through the window. The father woke up in the morning and saw the treasure without knowing his benefactor. He married off his first daughter with this dowry and glorified God for the miracle. The saint repeated the same action for the second daughter without being noticed by anyone. The third time, the father kept watch and managed to recognize Saint Nicholas as the benefactor. He fell at his feet with tears of gratitude and thanked him for the salvation of his family. The saint begged him not to reveal anything to anyone as long as he was still alive. Saint Nicholas decided to travel to Jerusalem to venerate the Holy Land. He boarded an Egyptian ship along with many other Christian pilgrims of the time. At night, he saw the devil in his sleep cutting the ropes of the ship's mast. In the morning, he warned the sailors that a great storm was coming and called them to prayer. Indeed, a strong wind arose and everyone awaited death with terror and despair. The saint prayed fervently to the Lord, and the sea calmed immediately and miraculously. A sailor went up the mast to tie a rope of the ship. He slipped and fell to the deck, dying instantly before everyone's eyes. Saint Nicholas ran to him and with fervent prayer raised him from the dead. All the fellow travelers glorified the Lord for the miracle and thanked the saint warmly. After venerating the Holy Sepulchre and Golgotha, he wished to remain there forever. However, an angel of the Lord ordered him to return to his homeland to serve the people. Years later, when the hierarch of the city of Myra died, the bishops gathered to elect a successor. An elder bishop prayed, and an angel of the Lord revealed God's will to him. He told him that whoever entered the temple first in the morning would become the new bishop. Nicholas arrived very early to pray, knowing nothing of the decision. The elder asked him his name and immediately understood that he was God's chosen one. Thus he was ordained Archbishop of Myra by divine intervention, and the people welcomed him with joy. His charitable work grew greatly, and he founded a poorhouse, a hostel, and a hospital. During the great persecution of Christians, the saint was arrested among the first as a well-known archbishop. He was chained and imprisoned, but continued to strengthen his flock and support the faithful. After the Edict of Milan, Constantine the Great gave freedom to the Christians, and all were released. Saint Nicholas returned to his church, and the people welcomed him with tears of joy. Arius was a priest in Alexandria who taught that Christ is not God, but a creation. Constantine the Great convened the First Ecumenical Council in Nicaea to resolve the dispute. 318 fathers of the Church gathered together with the emperor himself. Saint Spyridon demonstrated the Holy Trinity with the miracle of the roof tile in front of everyone. He squeezed a piece of tile, and it miraculously separated into earth, water, and fire. Arius, however, with arrogance, called the miracle demonic and refused to be convinced. Saint Nicholas became indignant at the blasphemy and stood up from his seat immediately. He gave Arius a strong slap in front of the entire council and the emperor. The king ordered the saint to be imprisoned until the council ended. At night, Christ and the Virgin Mary appeared in the prison and released him from his bonds. They gave him a gospel and the omophorion of the high priest as signs of divine blessing. The council condemned Arius as a heretic, and the saint returned to Myra glorified. 3 generals of Constantine the Great arrived in Myra during a military mission. Their soldiers began to loot the city, and St. Nicholas intervened immediately. He rebuked the generals, and they stopped the looting and returned the stolen goods to the inhabitants. On the same day, the saint saved 3 innocent men from an unjust death sentence in a miraculous way. Later, the 3 generals were slandered by their enemies and unjustly imprisoned in Constantinople. They were sentenced to death without even knowing the cause of their accusation. At night, they prayed with tears and fervently invoked the help of St. Nicholas. The saint appeared in Constantine the Great's sleep and urged him to release them. The same night, he also visited the prefect Ablabius and rebuked him for his bribery. The 3 generals were liberated and dedicated their lives to God with gratitude. They distributed their fortunes to the poor and became monks to serve the Lord. St. Nicholas lived for about 100 years, full of holiness, miracles, and offering to the people. His inner holiness was reflected on his face, which shone with divine grace. Many returned to the knowledge of God just by looking at him without needing any teaching. Shortly before dying, he lifted his eyes to heaven and saw angels coming. He reposed peacefully on the 6th of December, and the news caused deep sorrow everywhere. His funeral was attended by all the people of the region and was magnificent. His holy relic was placed in Myra, and healing myrrh gushed from it continuously. For this reason, the faithful all over the world also call him the myrrh streamer. The Church honors his memory on the 6th of December and has ranked him among the greatest saints. He is considered the protector of sailors and the entire Orthodox Christian world since then. His holy relics were transferred to the city of Bari, Italy, in the 11th century. The memory of this translation is celebrated on the 20th of May by our Church.